positive change, and I'm thankful to be here with all of you guys, and I'm thankful for all you guys for coming. That's okay with me.
I'm thankful for Mother Nature and not making it rain this morning. That's right with you.
I'm thankful for the DeSotos for letting us use their property this weekend last week. That's right.
Ignition point and oxygen. If it's lacking any of those three things, no fire. Okay? The ignition point's easy since we're going to hand you a box of matches. The other part for you folks is getting the right fuel that's going to start up and making sure you have enough oxygen but not too much oxygen. It's about that gentle balance, remember? What else? You were just here last week. Let's let other people think for a minute. There are 3 different types of fuel. Who remembers the 3 different types of fuel? You were here last week, remember? I just talked to you about it. Trey. Kindling, yeah.
You have stuff all around you.
These are the T.
Okay, let it burn onto the stick.
Okay. Who knows the smallest stuff? No, but that's what makes it. There's a different name for the classification.
Wait, hold on.
Chloe?
You want to try hold it
Tinder. So you want tinder, and that could be anything from like hair size or even like fuzzy stuff, like really tiny fuzzy stuff. It's gotta be dry, and you want a lot of it. Remember, you want a lot of it. Then the next size is kindling. That goes anywhere up to pencil size in thickness. Okay. And what's the last stuff called? Okay size is how we measure it. Yeah, you don't want it bigger than that. Okay, and that's called fuel, which is easy since we're talking about the 3 different types of fuel. Okay. When we say fuel, we never mean gasoline here, unless we're talking about filling up our cars. They're still working. Theirs is really close.
Let's go on the other side. Don't add
Cody, you want to gently place it, okay? I usually go from the bottom and then make it so the top goes in, because then your hand's already closer to the ground. Oh, that's going to go soon. Keep it going. You got to get that flame all around it. If it dies down more.
This one. Yeah, a little bit here. Okay, no, put it in. Put it in. It's going to burn.
What were those blue jays mobbing this morning? We were talking to Phil, were they mobbing like a couple sparrows or something?
I think so, because we were talking and I saw some of the bird activity. You mean over there behind you, right? There it comes. Where did you hear them?
I heard them as you're pulling up the driveway on the left about
15 minutes exactly.
Good job, guys.
Actually, it was 14 minutes and 59 seconds, so just under. Well done, Casey.
Nice.
Came in a long distance, Ben. You got everyone. Take your blindfold off. And that's the whole thing. Some people in the survival situation, if they get lost or something, they'll just sit down. And they'll wait, and they're like, they'll come for me. They'll come for me. No, it's not guaranteed people will come for you. It's wonderful if they do come for you. But, I mean, all of you in my class this last year, we read Hatchet. Has anyone else read Hatchet that wasn't in my class? Like, didn't read it with my class this last year? And you mean you pay attention to the story about this boy, and he was in a place that was in the Canadian wilderness, and I mean, it really wasn't too far off the beaten path. And that's a really good, realistic story in terms of you're not always found, and you have to make do for yourself. You have to know what to do. And hopefully you're building up some skill sets from being with us that if there ever was a situation where you had to be by yourself in the woods for a while, you wouldn't only feel not panicked, you'd feel confident that you could do something about it. Does everyone understand that? So this is a landmark moment for me, and I am very excited. I have done this camp for 6 summers. And I have taught outdoor stuff for 15 years to youth and to adults. But a lot of my focus has been with youth in the summertime. So I did 9 years at a Boy Scout camp. And I've been waiting to have a program take off beyond just a starting point. And you folks are my first advanced group ever. You're the first extended program that we've ever offered to youth. So this is a really big deal to me and to Mike and to Mikey, who owns the school and is coming out. Like, you folks are our first step into offering more programs to people so you guys can keep coming back to us and learning new things.
But there's this one here. You guys see this one? It's a perfect choice.
Brian, up into the woods over there. How badly do you have to go?
Really badly.
Okay, I wish you... I like it.
Is that good?
Give it a try. It's good to have the idea of the flavor in your mouth. We don't eat enough bitter stuff.
Uncle Yeti.
Oh, look at the dragon. That's really strong. Look at the dragon.
Nice. Share that with him. That one.
I eat it.
You gotta know what it tastes like.
Want me to head? I'm gonna eat it.
It's real
Right.
good.
Anybody want? Does it really taste good?
It does. It does. It does.
Seth, in terms of Dead Reckoning, you really want to use what you can to recognize things. It truly is about recognizing. So if you don't pick landmarks that really stand out, you will not be able to find your way back. At least to end up at the same places. And Mike found his way back to us very easily. Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
Where is he?
Right there.
Oh.
Now, Mike, what did you use for landmarks to help you come back to here from where you went?
I used the topography of the land. I would slope down and then back up again.
Probably our voices.
I heard voices. I also followed tracks. There was a big swath of tracks that you guys left. I just followed them back.
Well, the method of loss proofing that we're going to use is called storylining. So storylining is where you use things that you can recognize, but you actually write a story about it. So we're going to start from here. We're going to say later on this week we're going to come back to here. What did we say we're going to call this hill? The hill of the dead brother hemlocks. And so everyone take a look. We see this tree with the bark peeling off it, and then maybe about 12 feet away you see the really wide one that's missing its top completely. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
And we could even say, to help us exactly remember that this is the hill, we'll say in the distance you could see the half-naked spear. Does everyone see that?
I thought you meant this one.
So in the distance, when looking at the dead brother hemlocks, you could see the half-naked spear. Then we know we're on the right hill. Does everyone understand?
Yeah.
So this is going to be our first landmark. We're going to make you come back to this place using the story tomorrow. You're going to tell us the story. Does everyone understand? Okay, so we're going to look from here. We're going to figure out another good place to go. So we know already that there's a ravine over here, right? So I think that we should walk toward it from here and see if we can find another thing that people feel called to for using in the story. Does that make sense to everyone? You feel comfortable still? You okay?
Well, if I
Oh. Does everyone see this tree right here? It almost has a tilted eye shape to it.
Yeah.
Actually, it has a really wide pull, and with the green, it almost reminds me of a dragon's eye. Can you guys see that, kind of? So from the hill of the dead brother hemlocks, we come toward the ravine, and we find the dragon's eye next to the termite hotel.
Where's the termite hotel?
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Does everyone see that? Or it could just be a woodpecker carcass. I haven't decided. There are some definite woodpecker holes in it.
Yep.
Does everyone see the woodpecker holes on it? There's one there, and there's like a rectangular one there. Does everyone see how we're doing so far with the story? So what do we start with, everyone?
The two-hill brother hemlock thing.
The hill of the dead brother hemlocks. As we come down the hill, we see...
The dragon's eye and the termite hotel.
Very good.
What about the naked spear thing?
Oh, very good. And from the hill,
And the
in the distance, you can see the half-naked spear. That we come under the half arch between the mossy elf bridge and, I don't know, what do you guys want to call that
X
one?
bridge.
And the X bridge. It looks like it's shaped like an X. Very good. So far, if we were going from this direction out, this is the half arch between the mossy elf bridge and the X bridge. Connects to, what was the last one we said?
The
Termite hotel in the Dragon's Eye, and that will get us up to the
hill of the dead brothers Hemlock.
the hill of the dead Hemlock brothers.
And then the half-naked spear.
And then from the distance you can see the half-naked spear. Is everyone with us so far?
Yes, sir.
All right, can you excuse me because I'm going to start picking all the parts for our storyline in order to get back to an exact landmark on the landscape, which really has no other recognizable features except for the ones we agreed upon, right? So remember, we're going to start here with, what is this called?
The
Bridge of the Decaying Teeth. Very good. And then the next place we'll know to turn where?
The clearing.
Turn right at the Fern Village.
Clearing.
Yeah.
And the clearing.
Good. Turn right between the Fern Village and the clearing, right?
Yep.
And then, what are we going to see next?
The cheery rock thing.
Oh yeah.
The rocky
teardrops.
rocky teardrops. That will lead us down to...
The
Hill of the Fallen
Hill of
Giants.
the Fallen.
Hill of the Fallen Giants.
Very good. That will take us down to the Gulls and then up to the Hill of the Fallen Giants, which has the
Spongy
ground. And then after that,
is
Then
the arch,
the
half arch tree.
Half arch with the X bridge.
Ridge and the
And
mossy
also
elf.
the
Mossy elf tree.
you guys remember that? So half arch,
And then the termite hotel.
X bridge, yeah, hold on, and then the mossy elf bridge on the other side of that. And then there's the
Hotel.
termite hotel and the
Dragon's Eye.
dragon's eye, because it was like the mossy connection, the eye shape in the tree. And then what?
Then it was
The
the Hill of the Dead
Hemlock Brothers.
Very good.
And
And
then
what
a
will we see in the
half-naked-
distance when we're
A
there?
half-naked
spear.
A half-naked spear. Does everyone remember that?
Yep.
Okay. We'll ask you again tomorrow morning to see what you can recall. I'm not going to give you any hints. Storylining. Fuzz yourselves. Your outline is very easy to pick up from around a rock or a tree. So it takes no time at all to take a couple leaves and put them on top of your head if you lay on the ground, or to hold on to like a fern leaf, or to put yourself somewhere where you're sheltering your head, the shape of it, or your shoulders with some other type of debris. Does that make sense to everyone? And some of you are not wearing very earthy colors, but for the most part you all did all right. That's kind of a bright green, but that's okay.
Is this okay?
Probably the worst in truth is that blue shirt that Trey walk up. So your goal is to get as close as possible without being seen. Any other questions? All right, dear, come over here. Close your eyes. Cover them up. Your hands. 1, 2, 3. Down with me. 4.
So the name of this game is called Mouse Attacks Owl, or as we're calling it today, Deer and Wolves. And the people in the woods hiding right now, they're the wolves. And the people with their eyes closed counting, they're the deer. And the wolves have to try to hide from the deer while sneaking up on them in between rounds. This game teaches a lot of different subtle lessons. One of them, it just gets kids out in the woods, laying down in the woods against the earth behind a log. It kind of takes away that that kind of squeamish feeling that a lot of the kids have. If we just ask them to lay down like we did earlier today on the forest floor, they get kind of squeamish and grossed out by the thought of spiders and other bugs crawling in them, and naturally this game just kind of encourages them to be against the earth and in the leaves and putting leaves on their head and all sorts of stuff like that. But it's part of the game, so it's fun. Another part of this game, another lesson involved the deer trying to look through the woods for people, for things that stand out in the woods, like Trey's blue shirt here. I'm zooming in on. That stood out to Isabel and Ben here, apart from the rest of the natural landscape. So it teaches kids to blend in into the woods as well. As just some examples. Places that kind of don't pull the attention of the deer, and avoiding the focal points, the places where the deer are going to naturally be pulled to look towards.
All right, dear, come here.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
was a kid, there was a water buffalo that lived in the vacant lot at the end of our street. And it's where all the tall grass was, because no one ever went in to mow this particular lot. And the water buffalo slept most of the day, ignored people as it walked by, unless we happened to stop by and ask the water buffalo some sort of advice. And in that case, after we asked the question, the water buffalo would come up close to us, rear itself up, silently point its left foot in the right direction. Now, never once did the water buffalo say what it was we were looking for, or how far we were supposed to go, or what it was we were supposed to do when we eventually got to what he was pointing to. And that's okay, because that's how water buffaloes are. They don't like to talk very much. So, this got a little bit too frustrating for people after a while. They realized that when they had a question that was really important, and they finally got to consulting the buffalo, that their question was quite urgent, and they needed some sort of immediate and straightforward response, rather than just a hoof point. And after that, people kind of stopped going to ask the water buffalo questions. And then the water buffalo seemed to disappear altogether, because after that, all anyone ever saw there was tall grass. It's too bad, really, when you think about it, because after we asked the question and we followed where he pointed, no matter what, every time when we reached the place that he was pointing to, we were always filled with surprise, relief, and even some sense of joy. Now I'm going to ask you this in relation to the story. We have something inside of us which kind of resembles the water buffalo. And it's called your inner vision. It's that feeling inside your heart that if you take the time to ask it for advice, to see what it is exactly that you're supposed to do or where you're supposed to be headed with your life, if you take the time to tap into that internal feeling, that inner vision, then usually you'll know what to do. But a lot of the time we get impatient with looking for that, or we get impatient for looking for the right answers around us, and instead we ask lots of questions and think about things too much. And in doing so, we miss out a lot on that inner vision that's inside of us. And unfortunately, one day you might even forget that you have it inside of you. And so I guess the point to that story for me is don't ignore the water buffalo inside of you. Go to him, ask questions, get advice, and follow him. That story was a story by Sean Tan. I like it very much. Has everyone got that? Aho?
Aho.